Cody step here. What you're going to see inside this clip is exactly how we can leverage SAM to drive leads into our business and get them into our database. Once they're in our database, we are then going to be able to leverage SAM to start automations automatically. This is really cool. After this clip, I'm going to share a little bit more about how you could get started in SAM yourself.
On the dashboard, and this has been here for some time, on the dashboard, the little icon in the upper left corner of this, if you click on that icon, it will show you all the different widgets, the dashboard widgets, the little controls that show information are on there. And while it's somewhat, because it's fluid, it kind of moves and stuff, placement is not exact all the time because it can move based off of sizes of different things. But you can choose which widgets you want to be able to see. So if there's something on there, you don't ever look at it, just uncheck it, remove it for now. You may need it later. You may find that, oh, I really do need that piece of information and it's useful. But each individual user has the ability to set up their own widget list, and it's starting to gradually get larger and larger. Some of it's basic information on counts of things, but other things have to do with the source of your contacts, your calendar stats, your contact stats, stuff like that are pretty important. Last week we covered landing pages as far as a new feature, but I failed to let you guys know that there is a landing page stat that goes along with it. So if it's not already on, you can go in there and turn it on by clicking on the little icon and turning it on from there. But this past week, I've also added another one called Rate Our Service stat. And I'm going to explain what that is and how that applies to the landing pages. I'm going to turn both of those on just so that you can kind of see what they are. So whenever we come into this, we're seeing the information of the stats. Whenever you create landing pages, and your landing pages could be, basic information for collecting updated information for your contacts. Hey, wanted to find out, make sure I had the most accurate information on you. Here's your address, your city, state, zip, your phone number, stuff like that. And you can also include custom fields and stuff like that. So if you wanted to create some custom fields in there, have it be part of the landing page, you can certainly do that. Now, what happens is whenever a landing page submission is sent back to you, if it's not auto approved, it'll go into your landing pages piece. And I'm just going to go to the approved site here. It will show you, and I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit so I can see everything. You can see all of the different fields of information. This is all bogus information. This is nothing, not real data, so not a problem seeing it. But whenever somebody submits a page, we talked about this last week, it will go into the pending section, and once it's been approved, it comes into the approved section. So you can see all of your approved items and see what data was in there and see what they're about to update, and then after updating it, what it looks like. So everything got updated properly. It's all in green. That's all great. Now, what we've done is we've added actually one extra field to this so that we can do some rating stuff, and I'm going to cover that. But if you go back to the dashboard, this landing page stats is going to tell you how many pages or how many submissions do I still have left pending. If people have submitted information, these are the ones that you're going to want to get to right away. So you can just click on this and it will take you to the pending page. If I'm looking at the approvals, in this case, the approved in the last 7 days, I can click on that, and then it takes me to my approved list. So you can quickly get access to each of the different approvals and stuff that you've done. And of course, the rejects are on there too. You know, there's going to be times when people will submit bogus information and you don't want it in your database. You can reject it and just, you know, get rid of it. But at least it's in there. Now, if you keep that data in there in the stats area of the approvals area, it's a holding area for this data that can be collected and stuff. We can now, with the addition of a new field, we can now see ratings. So you can say one of the fields on that landing page may be rate our services. How did you like this, that, or the other thing? And give us a number of stars. So whenever that pops up, then it will show them a place where they can register, fill in the information, and also put in the number of stars. Whenever that comes back and you approve it, these are the approved items. It does not count anything that's pending or rejected. Then it will show you kind of a status of things. So in this case, I've got a total of 7 sample stats where they have gone in and rated the services, of which there are 5, actually 3 5 stars and 4 4 stars. I can see that. I can click on this or I can click on this, either one, and then it will open up the people that are in there, and then I can click on, I can see what they rated. I can click on the actual name and it takes you into that record as well. So it opens it up, does the process of showing you the details and stuff. Now, what you can do is, what I did was I created a field, a custom field that I wanted that rating to be stored in. You could also create maybe a field for comments or whatever. So you can let them give you a number of stars. You can have them put any kind of comments and stuff. What I have not done yet, but am working towards, is allowing that information then to be submitted into other, like Google Google ratings, rate my business, and some of the other ones that are out there. We'll do some integration pieces to be able to send those pieces over there. But that way you can kind of see those numbers and get to all the information very easily. To do this setup, basically, you're going to come into your settings area up in the upper right corner, go into setup. And the very first thing that you really should do is make sure that you have a holding place for the number of stars. Now, we don't have a specific field for that in the database. You can create as many of these as you want, so you want to be able to just set them up however you want. But what you can do is go into your menu options and go into manage your custom fields. Whenever you do that, it's going to show you the place where you can set up custom tabs and what fields are in each one of those. So if I scroll down here, I've got several different ones in here. I've got a rating number here. If I click on, just edit that. I've created a field called rating number, and you could call it whatever you want. I put number in there because I was doing some testing of number. It should be a number field. So the field type is numbers only. But you give it a name. This could be listing side rating. It could be buyer side rating. It could be whatever you want to call this. You give it some name, and it's just a standard number. At the same time, we could go ahead and add another field in here. Actually, let me just go ahead and do that and say I'm going to add a new row on this and make this a rating comments. And we're going to make this actually a multi-line field and save this. Okay, so I've got I've got my rating number. I've also got another field here for buyer agent rating. I was just doing some testing and are rating my service. You just ignore those. I was just playing around, but this rating number and the rating comments. So we're going to have a place to store the physical number out of 5 stars. They're going to have a 4, and then a place for them to put in some comments. That's all that actually is. So once you've identified and put in the fields in there, they're going to be available in the contact record. You can now go into the landing page area, and we can create, and I'm just going to go ahead. No, I'll leave it as it is. I'm going to create that field on there. Where do we put it? Unlock, help us improve. That's the buyer one. Unlock, ungrab. Where are you located? First time home buyer. Where did I put it? Unlock the ultimate guide. I got too many of these here. Value. Oh, we value your input. Here it is. So this is the landing page. We value your input, share your experience. We have it now. We have it so that using the information of this, it can create the description. It can create the thank you message. Whenever you click on the plus here, it allows you to put in some basic information, and it'll create all this for you. It then fills in your agent information. You can put in your photos, your logos, your colors, and stuff like that. Last week, we talked about being able to use Pixabay to do the images, and I just grabbed this one off of Pixabay. We do have one here for generate AI image, and you can describe the image you want, and it goes out and creates it. That one, because it's using Google's new image creator, it's currently free. We may have to do something on subscriptions on that once they start charging on that. But this allows us to create those images at a much higher image quality than what we've done in the past, and it's really, really cool. But what it does then is you've got these fields. So we've got our first name, last name field, email, and then we've got this new field type called rating. So if I just click on that, the text fields, the text areas, all that was there, text only. I added this new one called rating. Whenever you choose rating, it then allows you to give that field kind of a label. What do I want it to look like? Rate our services. And then what field do you want the value that they enter in? What value do you want? What field do you want that value to be placed into? And in those custom fields, I created the rating number, right? So this is the rating number field. You can pick and choose from whatever fields you want. Place for a holding, you really don't need that, but gives you an extra little title on there. And then you can choose what type of icon do you want to use. Do you want to use stars, squares, hearts, whatever. You can pick and choose those. And then what color do I want to assign it? Do I want it gold? Do I want it red or whatever? The little star. And then the maximum number of stars do you want? Do I want 1 out of 5? Do I want 1 out of 10? Whatever. Typically, most people will do 5. It's pretty universal, but I wanted to give a 10 option as well. And then whether you want this to be required or not. Now, once you've got that, just hit update. I'm going to go ahead and add one more field for that rating comments area. So I'm going to choose a text area, comments. The database field on this, I'm going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom and choose rating comments that I just added. I won't make it required, but we'll go ahead and click on add on that. So now we've got all the information there for the field. If there's any kind of classification that you want to update the record automatically whenever it comes in, you can do that. You can specify a date field. Now, this is another thing. Maybe you want to add a date field for rating feedback, rating, last rating date, whatever. You could create a field for that. There is one on there called last feedback date. I used it. On the tagging, if there's any tags that you want to tag them, rated or whatever, you can certainly do that. And then we're going to go ahead and click on save. Now, once that is saved, we can go take a look at what that looks like. There's a little icon here for copying or previewing the URL. Say I want to preview this, and maybe I want to, I just want to open up. So maybe I don't have them in the database. You probably would actually. Let me go ahead and grab somebody. I'll say preview with a contact, and let's go Washington. I think George Washington's in here. Yeah, George, good old George. And then I'm going to go ahead and open it. Now, what this does is this opens up the landing page. Because I had chosen George, it goes ahead and fills in the information that it does know about George. George could come in here and say, yeah, that's my name, that's my email. Or if George says, oh, I've got a new email, he could change that. And whenever it comes back in, that gives you the opportunity to automatically change it within SAM. And then here's that rate your services. So we can then choose, what are the stars? So maybe it was a 5-star review or whatever, 4. You choose whatever it is, and then had a great time working with Mark. Okay. They can type in whatever they want, and then they hit submit. So what that does then is that takes this data, it submits it, taking a little bit of time there. I'm not sure why. See what happens. There we go. Okay. So then it comes in and says, oh, hey, thank you for your update. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for rating, whatever you have on there. Now, whenever I go back into SAM, there's going to be the bell. You heard the bell kind of go off. There's a landing page submission. So it told us that there's a landing page submission. I can also just go over here to landing pages and do stuff. But if I'm looking at my dashboard now, it'll say, hey, you've got one pending, and it's in the rate our services form type. So it's letting you know which form it is. If I click on that, then it would take me to that spot. You'll notice that there are still only 7 entries here right now for the rate your services, because this one's still pending. It's not been approved yet, so it's not going to show up. But say I go to the pendings. There's George Washington. He submitted 5 out of 5 stars. That's great. You'll notice that these are not checked because they're already the same values. There's a place here for the comments. Do I want to store those comments as submitted and stuff? Absolutely. And then I can just come down here and click approved. So then that takes that information. It automatically sends it into the approved area, and you'll see that it updated the information in here. If I go to that contact record, take a look at it. Then if we come over here to the client events area, here's my rating, 5. And here's my comments. Had a great time working with Mark. So it just allows you to store that data and do stuff. Now, because it's been approved, if I come back here to the dashboard, it will now have 8 in there as far as the total number of entries. And then it shows you kind of a chart on each submission that's in there. Each one of these, you can actually click on the little dot and it will take you to that contact. If you want, you can click on, like I said before, here's George Washington here in the list. And if I click on that, then it takes me into his contact record as well. So it just gives you a way to get the information updated, get reviews of some sort, get those reviews into your database without you having to do anything. Now, we did set this up so that it required us to do approvals. You could set up to automatically approve and it just automatically goes in there. Is possible if you just don't want to take the time. If you know you're sending it out to people that you trust and they would fill it out, certainly that is possible. And then also, I mean, you could set this up so that it doesn't actually update these fields at all. It doesn't request them. It just does the service rating and stuff.
Okay, now that we understand a little bit more, I think you understand that speed to lead might actually be achievable when you have a tool like SAM. So I'd like to offer you 14 days of free access inside of SAM to do just this. All you need to do is visit sam.workflowsecrets.info and click the sign up button. This is going to give you 14 days of free access, no obligations, and you can actually start to see how the system could drive this inside your business. Now, once you fall in love, and I know you will, you can go ahead and sign up for a monthly subscription, but it all starts by visiting sam.workflowsecrets.info and clicking the sign up button. I'll see you inside.